What's up, Conquerors? Thanks for watching this video today. This is going to be a replay review, and we're going to take a look at a French-English mashup. On November the 8th. So our Age of Empires 4 player here, he's played 57 games this season. Looks like he's played several seasons in the past, so not a new player. Oh, all of these load pretty slow, but he's played since Season 1. So he's probably got a lot of endgame experience. So we'll kind of look at his games and see where we could best tweak and how we make some adjustments to play a little bit better, maybe get a high platinum, low diamond. Just give some key takeaways that he can work on moving forward. So I believe this game... Let me take a look at the date on this game. So it was 14 days ago. Why can I not... Why is that not in his history? So... If anybody's watching, I'm just throwing this out for this game. I can see the game on Age of Empires 4 World, Dry Arabia 14 days ago. That clearly doesn't exist within this match history. So I'm not sure. Sometimes there's a pretty large discrepancy between AoE 4 World and the match history. I'm not sure if that's, at some point you had your match history hidden and then you turned it on or what the deal was, but let's find a different game to review for you. We can find when you lost. Let's do one from 2 days ago on Marshland. That'll be an interesting game. So we're going to go through and do a quick replay review and then take a look at the charts afterwards. We've got an HRE versus English matchup, so I want to see how you handle this. Pretty curious to see what you do here against the English. So let's go ahead and reveal map all. And again, you can find a good build order online if you're not already using one from a pro. So, and I think this is pretty standard to send 3 out to gold early and then rally onto food. Have your prelate here to inspire the food villagers. And so interested to see what your strategy is here. I think a lot of people here would throw a tower down on the gold mine and then go fast castle, but we'll see what you do. Got a lot of idle time on a villager early that you use to build the house. So, I mean, just kind of basic stuff here. I would say if you build the house, like let's say you select a villager, you select a house, you put it down, then just shift right click on the gold mine. So after he finishes building the house, he'll go immediately to the gold mine. Because you're going to be scouting at the beginning, not really paying attention when he finishes the house. Again, I would make sure my prelate's over here. Oh, this is a good kill. Like that a lot. That's a nice sheep delivery. I'd keep my prelate over here on the food villagers. There's 9 villagers here, only 3 on gold. I'd make sure he's enchanting the food. Because see what we've got here is we actually hit 200 gold first. So let's throw down the chapel. See where you put it. Yeah, I would recommend putting the chapel on the wood line because it's also used as a drop-off point. So there's actually a couple good spots here. I do agree. I mean, you can go 2 ways. If you think you're going to get rushed early and not be able to get it up, then you can build it within town center range. But in this case, if you scouted and he's got Abbey of Kings, the king isn't going to get out here for a while. So this would be a really good spot for the Abbey. You'd have your wood line and then 2 berries around it. Or you put the Abbey more over here which is probably what I would do in this situation. You get all of your sheep villagers, and then you have a free drop-off for the gold. Or, excuse me, then you have a free drop-off for your woodline, and your woodline's generally in the TC range where the king can't come in. So, other easy thing to do, you know, if you're trying to go fast castle in this situation, go ahead and get a little wood. Let's see, here we go. You're building a mining camp, but you can just use the Aachen Chapel as a drop-off. And in the meantime, you can collect wood from the straggler trees until the chapel's up. So I put the chapel here, have it hit all my food villagers, gather my wood line here. I'd get wood from the straggler trees, build a tower out here, and then I'd do like a small wall here and a small wall here just so the king can't run in and attack me. That's what I would do. You could even do another small wall back here, and then he really can't get to this back area unless he comes all the way around. So, it's not that your chapel's in a bad spot. Like, it's fine. But you invested extra resources to build a lumber camp, which you didn't need. And your chapel, if we look at the range, like, were you trying to get it for berries? Because it doesn't cover all the berries. So, like, let's get it on top of the resources, or we'll put it in a safer spot over here. And, you're going to be lucky. I think you should get this tower up, but he should have the king heading over. And now you've got to rush the tower up with a lot of guys, but at least you'll have it up. And the one dangerous part I was talking about putting the chapel up here, you actually have the same problem here. Your wood line's not protected. So, I generally talk about kind of key takeaways, but I'm going to ding you on a few small things here. So, we want to make sure our town center is always rallying to a resource. So, we have it on the gold mine. I normally just rally to wood, but we have it on the wood. We need to make sure that it's not rallying to your lumber camp here, like select a tree, because your villagers are just spawning and then they're idling. So you can kind of put yourself in the mindset of, if I'm building villagers and they're not working, then it's just like having not having those villagers, right? They're just idle, not doing anything. Again, in this situation, you're building a wall back here. You have a lot of wood. I would have liked to have seen you go ahead and throw up the walls back here too, because now that if the king is smart, which it doesn't look like he's doing a good job of attacking, he could get back here and shut down all your wood. And there's the wall, right? So it's a good thing you're throwing down the wall now, but what I'm pointing out is a better player would have gotten back here and denied your wall and your wood line. So that's just something to keep track of. I like just sending one villager to do this. That's fine. So let's see what you do when you go to castle here. And let's see what our opponent doing. He's doing 2 town center. Which actually will work very well if you go fast castle. So you can either go Burgrave or you can go Regnance here. Regnance is better long term. Burgrave has the timing attack. So what's funny is you almost always want to go Regnance, but in this specific situation, if you scouted your enemy and you went Burgrave, he would be absolutely screwed. Because he's not close to castle age, he does not have crossbows, and he's not walled. So if you actually did a timing Burgrave push right here, he would die. I say that because he's got nothing to kill men-at-arms, nothing to stop rams, and no units but the king. So a timing Burgrave rush would kill him. I highly advise, while you're aging up and building this Regnance, you go ahead and throw down, in this scenario, throw down 2 stables, start making Castle Age Knights when you age up. Because again, you might be sending this monk out to grab relics. A better player would have the king. Not sure where the king is over here, and he would kill this prelate. So that's just something to keep in mind when you age up. You want units to protect your prelates. I would never assume that your prelates can walk out freely onto the map and grab relics. So just something to keep in mind. And there's the stable, right? That's solid. You're building it now. I'd like to see you with the stable down before you age up. Like, as you're aging up, start building 2 stables, and then you start producing units immediately. This is a delay in the units we get out. And there's the king, which is why it's important to have the stable early. So again, we've got some shift clicking issues here where you're not shift clicking. So again, if you don't understand how to shift click, let me know and I can show you. But if you're going to build a building, just place the building and then hold shift and right click on where you want them to go next. Like gold mine, sheep, build another building, and they'll do that in order without you having to move them. Because I think you've picked up pretty significant idle time there doing that. Yeah, and see, his king's roaming on you because we don't have knights out here. Knights or any units. And I think he's likely, I would assume, trying to scale the castle in the back, but now it looks like he might be going into spearman. He's floating way too much gold. So you can use one knight to chase the king around, that's fine. But knights are not inherently defensive units. You want to take this knight and you want to go attack the enemy's base. The knight's not doing anything good and just sitting in your base, so you want to use him to go attack. You did a very good job picking up 3 relics already. This one you're probably never going to get. But the one that's closer to you, you should get 4 relics, and then hopefully you go ahead and pick up 2 sacred sites. So again, I think we're overcommitting a little bit to stop the king. 2 knights, 2 crossbows in the back. I don't think that's needed. Key takeaway for both players here is, and I know it's hard, right? Like, a lot's going on in the game. It's hard to spend all your resources when you need to. That's the hard part about RTS, right? The game moves fast, and you're trying to do a lot of different things. You're trying to multitask. But if you've got 1,200 gold, start buying upgrades, right? If you see that you're floating gold, queue up wheelbarrow. Queue up double broadaxe, queue up specialized pick. Like, let's go ahead and get our upgrades. I'd also really like, and I'll put some of this in the description of the video. I'd also really like to see, if you go into Castle Age Knights, that you throw down a blacksmith and you start getting your ranged armor upgrades. So here come the knights. You can take this pretty easily. You shouldn't go away from this. You should attack that. If you have 4 Castle Age Knights against 4 Spearmen, you can take that fight 100%. So you got to remember these are just feudal Spearmen. So I would just try to kill those villagers. We don't have our ranged armor upgrade, so you really can't dive this, right? If you did, you could really wreak some havoc here. Still probably can, but you'd be able to do much better if you had your ranged armor upgrades. So, I did find it a bit curious. We went into crossbows when the enemy didn't have knights on the map. They had the 1 king, but no knights. So I would like to ask you kind of what your thought process was going into crossbows, because I think what you would want to have done here was make archers, and then you could handle the spears that he had at his base for the knights that you made. Or you just pile on knights. And so let's look at the resources we're floating right now, right? 1,300 food, 1,700 gold. So either you should be aging up with the Swabia pretty soon, like throw down a market, buy some food with the gold, or you should have thrown down like 2-3 more stables and had 15 knights and the game would be over. So I actually think you missed a pretty important window to end the game here. I think you should have been able to end the game between the time you aged up to castle and the time this guy's getting up to castle. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, you're either aging up to castle to grab relics and do a timing push and win, or you're going up with the Swabia. So, let's see what you do here. I'm going to go to 4 speed because I'm going to jump in a game soon, so I'm fitting this replay in real quick. There's the Swabia, that's fine. Again, I think if you had scouted and someone's going 2 TC against a fast castle, you can normally just kill them. Because they're not going to have crossbows, but you went Swabia. So now you're going to be on the defense, right? He's going to want to push you because you're sitting back on the Swabia. Now your game is to outscale him. You've got relics, you have the Swabia. This isn't really a timing push now. Now you've got your units out here, but we've got the Swabia, so the longer the game goes for us, the better it should be at this point. And again, we've got crossbows. Crossbows against a composition of horsemen and spearmen, which crossbows don't really do much in that fight. A good mangonel pickoffs, I like that. So, again, you're routing him, but now he's got the white tower up. It's going to be hard to crack, right? So I have God Vision. I can see moves out on the gold here. You wouldn't have known that. But just something to think about is the enemy's going to run out of gold, and you need to kind of go around and check gold mines with just a knight or two periodically, or you just throw down some outposts on the map to keep track of it. So you're going landmarks here, I think, which is fine. You did finally get your range armor upgrades, some of your eco upgrades, which is good. So still looks like you have pretty firm control of this game, but now he's throwing down a Berkshire in the back of the base. And he's just picking you off with the knights. I wouldn't have the knights up here sieging. So I think again, you could end this if you had constant streaming units, but you're floating almost 3,000 food. So again, you should be able to end the game here, but we need to constantly be producing these units. And I think this is just, well, you've thrown down some more stables, but you need more stables at this point in the game. You've got enough wood, so if you've got 3,000 food, throw down 10 more stables and just make a ton of knights. Or you could even switch into men-at-arms here. So again, I think this game's been yours to win here. But you're losing a lot of units under the white tower. He's killing a lot of your guys. And one tip is just, after you grab the relics, go ahead and get the sacred sites. Free gold since you have the prelates. So you should be able to bring this down. Again, I think we're fighting under the white tower too much. You've got the siege out here to bring the white tower down, and you're running in and taking a fight under it. Just guard your siege out here and let them kill the white tower, right? Resource management, again, you have a lot of wood floated. So I've always said if I'm really stacking up the wood, at this point in the game, come in here, select a handful of villagers, throw down a mill, place farms around it, and kind of let the macro figure itself out there, right? So yeah, you're going into horsemen now, which I'm not sure I agree with at this point in the game. He doesn't have a whole lot of range units and is making spears, so you can mix in some horsemen, but I would like to see you continue to make knights or switch into making a lot of men-at-arms here. Elite men-at-arms at that. So you are kicking the crap out of his base right now. I have no doubts about that. I do want to see one of these horsemen. So you don't have elite horsemen. So And you have elite knights, right? So let's make the knights. Horsemen don't cost that much less. Well, you're getting. I take that back. You're getting your elite horseman upgrade, but you did not have it previously. So he got the white tower back up. Again, I don't think you're taking very good engagements under here, because again, look at where our units are. We had units inside of the white tower and Berkshire range. So I can't imagine your KD is very good in this game. Like, you're winning the game, but you're losing so many units that he might be able to gradually take control of this game. And again, why not knights? He's got some crossbows, but it's not like a crazy amount. And he's now making his own knights, so. I guess I'm confused by the full-on horseman. Maybe just because it's cheaper, but it's a good rate here on villagers. I like that. But again, you're crushing him in villagers, so let's look at our army value here. It's 10,000 to 3,800, but look at his destroyed value, right? The destroyed value is not close because what you're doing is you're running units into this this turtle nest. You need to sit out here, guard the trebuchets, let the trebuchets do their job. We're charging in here again. Into the Berkshire, and White Tower's down, I think, but Berkshire's still hitting you. I'm still not sure how this dude... Oh, no, you did win this game. For some reason, I thought you lost this game. So, let's take a look. I think you could have ended this item, and I just meant to look at the timeline, not the replay. I think you could have ended this game a long time ago, though. You had a very significant lead in this game for the majority of it. So let's exit this. Let's go take a look at your timeline. So, economy account, absolutely crushed him. You did a great job there with getting the Swabia up. I think you could have killed him with a Castle Age timing push, but Swabia was good, and you got a significant economy lead. So this game wasn't close, right? Economy-wise. Military-wise, this doesn't actually have destroyed value, but your military is very up and down. Then resource gathered, not close again. You did a good job of getting the relics. Would have liked to have seen you grab the 2 Sigurd sites in your range. And the absolute key takeaway in this game is better fights. Better engagements, and that game's over much, much sooner. So if someone's turtling like that, they have a lot of defenses. Springles can't kill Siege anymore. So you can sit out there with the trebuchets, work down the town centers, work down the White Tower, work down the Berkshire. Guard the siege with your army. The army and the siege stay together. The army and siege really should never separate, right? Leaves your siege vulnerable and makes it easy for you to lose your army kind of under the White Tower and Berkshire, which those fortifications were annihilating you. Overall, it was a good game, but you could have ended the game a lot sooner, and the destroyed value was heavily in his favor. So I'd actually encourage you to go back and look at the replay and see how high his destroyed value climbs, because I want to say it was about 3 times yours at the end of the game. And you were able to do that because your economy was so much bigger. But we want to see you take better engagements, and you'll play a lot better if you start doing that. Just one more thing I noticed kind of during your castle transition was... we want to defend our prelates and also, put a little Castle Age timing pressure on. So I'd say while you're aging up, you throw down a couple unit producers, get out knights or get out men-at-arms based on what you need to do. And then you go ahead and you get your relics behind that, and you take some good fights with the knights, try to pick off some villagers. And then lastly, I tell everyone this, and it's my own problem a lot of the time too, is your macro game. So if you're floating resources, think about how to balance that out. Too much gold, research blacksmith upgrades and eco upgrades, or get a market and balance out a bit. Too much wood, take some guys off wood, throw down a mill and farms, and that's kind of how you can balance out your macros. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions for me, just leave it in the comments of the video, and thanks to everybody for watching.